My name is Dov DeKeyser, and you're watching a Pic It Perfect tutorial. This lesson is really cool. We're going to be talking about how I did this edit that's right before you. Now, when I took the picture, I kind of messed up. Why did I mess up? I don't know, but I did. And the exposure was a little bit off. So what I did was, in my edit, when I was editing the raw files, I did two edits, a high exposure and a low exposure, and I blended the images together. So to get started, I'm going to load the two exports that I did of the high exposure and of the low exposure, and we're going to work with them together. So I'm going to go to File, Scripts, Load Files into Stack, and I'm going to click on Browse, Low Exposure and High Exposure, and click on Open. Now, if I did a normal HDR, I'd attempt to automatically align source images because the camera might have shaked, or the lens might have shaked, or the table might have shaked, or something like that. In this case, they're the same exact image, so I don't really need to do that. And here we go. Now it's going to put these two images together. And as I kind of hinted at, basically I blend the two images together and I sort of create this manual-like HDR. So it's not actually HDR, but it is HDR because I'm creating two different ranges of images. And if you see, I shut off the high exposure over here in the layers panel, and you'll see that when I have the low exposure, it's better for like the highlights, the shiny areas, and actually most of the image. But the high exposure is much better for this like blue tabletop over here, and maybe even for the bread. I'm not sure. I haven't decided yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a mask over the high exposure. I'm going to hit Command I to invert that. And then I'm going to use my brush to just draw in the tabletop over here. And I'm going to hit Alt Control and just enlarge my brush. And I'm going to make sure my flow is at about 20 something. And I'm just going to start drawing. And you can see how quickly that really makes a difference. And it makes this countertop look much, much nicer. And I'm going to draw all this in over here. And I'll draw around the knife and around the spoon. I do not want to brighten those. I don't really want to brighten up this lemon either, but I could fix that in a bit. I'll come back and draw in over there later. And right over here, definitely want to brighten up this area. Maybe in between this. Alright, and to see what I did, I can just shut off the lower layer and kind of look over here. Alright, as I'm drawing, I want to make this maybe a little bit more clear. What I'm doing is I have created already a high exposure and a low exposure. I put them into different layers of my image, and then I created a mask over the high exposure layer. I filled that mask up with black so that nothing would be visible, and now I'm drawing in with white over the mask so that the bright areas that I want to brighten, or the dark areas that I want to brighten, I'm brightening. Now, I'm going to go over and I'm going to do this rough drawing really quickly, and then I'm going to hit X to bring forward my foreground or my background color, which is black, and then I'll start refining that with the black and erasing some of the stuff if I overdid it. And that's pretty much the process. So I go back and forth between white and black, and I draw in the mask the way I want it, and I expose what I want to brighten within the image. Now I'm going to hit X to switch my foreground and background color, and I'm going to start drawing it in black like I just said, so that I don't go over like the lemon and these cups and stuff and the spoon, and just make sure that the areas that I'm brightening, the areas that I'm putting in the high exposure mask or layer is the right areas. Alright, so I don't want to brighten the spoon up at all because it's already kind of shiny, so it's drawn over here. And I don't want this bowl either. Got to be careful not to go over to the edges though. Cool, starting to look good. I don't really want to do the cutting board either, so let's go and make sure I don't get that. Oops, yeah. Alright, I'm going to turn on the layer. It's kind of bugging me. Alright, and you see that it's kind of getting darker because I'm erasing the mask. Cool. That's starting to look good. Let's see how it looks before and after. Yeah, it looks much better, doesn't it? You know what, maybe I want to brighten the bread. So let's go and make the brush bigger, open brackets, and brighten it up. Yeah, looks better with the bright bread, doesn't it? Yeah, so I guess I do want to brighten the bread. Looks better. Well, subscribe to my channel. We'll see you next week. I'll be talking about how to clean up this mat, get rid of all this dust. We'll do it really quickly. And yeah, we'll see you next week when I make this image just a little bit better.